Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be using a bunch of new Colourpop products. A lot of you guys probably know, if you are a Colourpop fan like myself, Colourpop launches things very frequently. I have a hard time keeping up with a lot of their launches, but recently they released their new spring collection. I think it's called the Sweet Talk collection, and it had been a while since a collection like that had launched and captured my heart, but this one did. I went online and I placed a massive order. I'm actually a little bit bummed because I filmed a first impressions using this collection last week and the audio got corrupted, so this won't be a first impressions, but I knew I had to sit down and show you guys these products. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise because now I'm a little bit more familiar with some of these things and I can really tell you what I feel like is worth the money. From the packaging to like the color selections to the formulas, this collection is so pretty. I didn't purchase every single item in the collection. I just felt like I wouldn't be able to show you every single item in one video, but I picked up the things that genuinely interested me right off the bat. So we have an eyeshadow palette, which I'm thrilled to show you guys. Obviously, I've already tried it, but there are some shades that I didn't get to try last time, so it will still be a little bit of a first impression. Look at these shades. Oh my goodness. I don't know. The packaging, just look at this. Isn't that so cool? Doesn't it make you just want to put this out on your vanity? That's what I'm going to do. This whole collection is going to be on display in my room. All right, so before we get into the tutorial, here's the before and after so you guys can see the makeup look that we're going to be creating today. When I filmed this last, I did a full face of Colourpop to just kind of go along with it. There were a couple things that I used when I filmed it that I just really don't want to use again. So if I replace something, it's going to be from the drugstore. So everything will be affordable. It'll be mostly Colourpop. So that's just a little disclaimer. I'm super excited. Let's just jump right in. Let's do the eyes first. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. I'm going to be taking the shade Oatmeal, and we're going to do the eyes first. I learned last time that I should always do the eyes first with this palette if I'm using the pressed glitters because there's quite a bit of fallout. I'm just going to go ahead and buff this out all over the eyelid, and I'm using the Morphe M173 brush. This is just going to help prep the eyelid for eyeshadows. It evens out any discoloration and just helps the entire look come together in the end. I tried those press-on nails today. I'm interested to see how these wear. Have you guys ever tried these? They're the Impress nails. I mean, I like how they look on camera. In person, it kind of bothers me how they stick up a little bit because they're not my real nail, and on the edges, like some of them don't touch the edge, but from here they look nice. Have you guys tried these? What are your thoughts? All right, let's go ahead and set that concealer. I'm gonna be using the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder. I literally just dumped that everywhere. Okay, off to a great start. And I'm just gonna take that on a small fluffy brush, and we're just gonna go ahead and press that onto the concealer. A lot of people don't set their concealer on the eyelid anymore. I can't get myself to do that because I feel like although it makes the color payoff super intense, I almost don't want that just in case I mess up. It's always easier to go in and add more than it is to remove it. So that's why I always set the concealer with powder. I just feel like it makes everything way easier in the long run. All right, let's dip into this gorgeous palette. This is the Sweet Talk palette. This palette is really cool because there's different formulas this time. They actually have a Super Shock shadow formula right here. Side to side is their famous, you know, like Super Shock formula. I just think it's kind of cool that that's in this shadow palette, and they also have two pressed glitters. That's honestly what kind of sold me on this palette because if you guys know me, you know I love glitter. I wear glitter almost every single day, whether it's big and chunky pieces of glitter or just a small layer of something a little bit more fine. I love shimmer and glitter on the lids. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. This is called Catch Me. It's a super light peachy pink, and I'm gonna start to work this into the crease and a little bit above. This is a very light shade. However, I have noticed that I can build it up pretty good, so that's what I'm gonna do to create the perfect transition shade for my skin tone. If you have medium or a deeper skin tone, this could be a really good shade to highlight the brow bone or the inner corner because honestly it is pretty light. It takes me a few times to really build up the color with this shade, but once I do, I really like the results. So I'm just gonna keep layering this until it's as intense as I want, and I like to blend it out toward the end of the brow and also a little bit into this inner corner here once there's a little less product on the brush. Okay, I feel like that's pretty even on both eyes. So next I'm gonna go into Dream Maker, which is this pretty pink shade. I'm just going to take the same brush, I'm going to tap off the extra, and I'm going to start to blend this out right underneath that shade that we just applied, so more directly into the crease, just to kind of warm that up a little bit and start layering the colors. Eyeshadow is all about layering. It's always easier to go from the lightest shade you're going to use to the deepest shade you want to use. For me, that just ensures that everything blends really nicely together, especially in the crease. crease. I guess I sometimes go with a darker shadow before a lighter one on the lid, but as far as the crease goes, the lightest to darkest shade always helps everything blend. So far so good. I'm really liking how this is looking. I'm gonna go into this pretty kind of mustardy brown shade. This is called Work It, and I'm gonna take it on a Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH34 brush. And I'm gonna start to apply this on the lid, and then once there's less product on the brush, I am going to start to buff that into the crease a little bit just to blend it in with those existing shadows. I started out applying the shade on the outer corner, but now that I'm seeing it on the lids, I do want to go ahead and apply it all over the entire lid. So I'm just bringing it in further and doing the same thing, blending it up to meet those existing pink shades in the crease. I'm going to go ahead and deepen everything up with this shade right here. This shadow is called West Side, and I am going to keep focusing this on the outer corner just to add a little bit more dimension. This is a really pretty brown shade. I love shades like these because you can use them in colorful looks like this, or you could just throw it all over the eyelid and put mascara on and you're good to go. So I love when there's a good brown eyeshadow in a palette because it's so versatile that way. I'm taking what's left on the brush that we used with the pink shades, and I'm just buffing that a little bit higher than where I had it, just so that when my eyes are open you can still see that pretty pink. Next, I'm going to go into the darkest shade in the pan. It's kind of like a purple brown. I don't know how to describe it. It's called Feel Free. And I'm going to layer this right on top of where we were just applying that brown shade before, but I'm going to really focus it closer to the lash line just to add some definition there. And I'm going to continue to layer this up. Oh, I kind of like what that's doing. I wasn't meaning to do like a shadow wing there, but I really like it. So let's keep that. I'm gonna try to mimic this same thing on this eye. If the edges aren't perfect underneath, we can always clean that up with a makeup wipe. So I'm just focusing on building this up toward the lash line and angling it out toward the edge. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up that edge right now. Okay, so I'm really liking how this is looking. It would actually be really cool if I left it just matte, but I'm not going to, not with these glitter shadows in here. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and go into this one right here. This is called Early Morning, and it's a gorgeous yellow gold. So I'm just gonna use my finger to apply this to the eyelid. And when I used them the other day, there was quite a bit of fallout, so, oh wow, that's fun. I'm just gonna apply it to this inner half of the eye. Ooh, that just made everything better, didn't it? I'm gonna do the same thing to this eye. Okay, I'm loving that glitter. I also want to layer in the other glitter called Prima Drama, and I'm just going to focus that one more on the inner corner just to add a little bit more interest. I mean, there's already some interest on the eyes, but I just, you know, why not? There's two glitters in the pan, might as well use them both. And Prima Drama is a little bit more of a pink champagne. It's this one right here. So definitely not as fiery yellow as the other glitter shade, but both beautiful. I really like the direction of this look. This is completely different than what I filmed when I filmed this video before, which is kind of fun actually. So far I'm liking this look better than the one I created, so it all works out. I also picked up one of the new mascaras from Colourpop. They launched this a couple months ago. This is the Colourpop Volumizing Mascara, or the BFF Volumizing Mascara. They launched colors and then also just a normal black mascara. I picked up just the black one. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like today. Since this isn't a first impression, I already kind of have my opinions about it, but I'll tell you as we go. So I really like the applicator on this, and I love the formula initially. When I first tried it out, I was super impressed at how it made my lashes look. But then throughout the day, I do feel like it got a little bit flaky underneath my eyes, which I just don't like at all. But we're gonna give it another go today to see if it flakes again. If it does, I don't know if this will be one that I reach for, but it'll be a bummer because I really do love what it does to my lashes. All right, let's take the makeup wipe and wipe away any of the glitter fallout. I might not be able to get rid of it all. For some reason, I feel like glitter really likes to stick to my skin. So that might be as good as it gets. I actually picked up a primer as well. This is the Colourpop All-Star Matte and Blur Primer. I'm just gonna focus this on the T-zone because that's where I need a little bit of mattifying throughout the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply it right here over these pores and a little on the chin, and let's do a little bit right here on the center of the forehead. It smells good. I got a little mascara on the eyelid. I'll clean that up in a second once it dries. If you ever get mascara on the lid, just leave it alone until it dries. Just don't forget to remove it. I've done that so many times where I'm like, oh, I'll just get it later. And I realized later that I forgot to buff it out. So don't forget to do that. All right, so I really wanted to try the Colourpop No Filter Foundation Stick. So I bought it, and when I tried it the first time, I was actually really impressed at how it looked. I don't know if it's my favorite foundation I've ever applied, but I did want to reuse it in this video so that I could show you guys what I'm talking about. I picked up the shade Fair 27N, and I'm just going to draw a couple stripes on the face, and I'm gonna buff this out with a Morphe M439 brush. You know what I should have done is I should have put a more hydrating primer on the rest of my face, because the outside of my face tends to get pretty dry while the middle is oily, and I kind of forgot to do that, and it's emphasizing a couple of my dry patches on the face. I'm gonna add just a couple more stripes. And this time, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Thrive Cosmetics sponge. I'm gonna put some foundation on the sponge first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and blend everything out with this. When it comes to complexion products, I don't know if Colourpop has nailed it yet. They've nailed so many other formulas. Their eyeshadow formulas are so good. Their pressed eyeshadow formulas. The Super Shock shadows are amazing. They have great lip products, but like foundations and powders and concealers, I'm not completely 100% on board with a lot of their products. As far as complexion goes, I don't know. I just feel like because I'm so familiar with the drugstore, I just always have my other favorite drugstore foundations in mind when I'm applying other affordable products on the face. And if I know I can get a better looking complexion and for the same price or less, then it's like, I don't know. Honestly, as I'm pressing this in with a sponge, it looks better than it did initially. This is definitely a better foundation than their liquid formula. I didn't really like their liquid formula of the No Filter foundation at all. So this is definitely a step up, and it's an improvement. I don't hate how it looks. I think it makes my skin look really nice, but I also don't think it's like the most incredible affordable foundation I've ever put on my face. What do you guys think? Have you tried this foundation? Leave your comments down below letting me know your thoughts. I'm gonna go ahead and go back into the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. I'm just gonna dot a little bit under the eyes. The thing about this concealer that I learned is it dries down pretty quickly, so I'm just gonna work in sections, starting with the under eye area, and then we can spot conceal anything after. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover any blemishes with the same concealer. All right, I'm just gonna buff off that mascara mark before I forget, and then I'm gonna go into that same Colourpop translucent powder, and we're just gonna go ahead and set the under eye area, and then I'm gonna set the whole face with the same exact powder. I do feel like this is a nice powder. This is one that I've had for a while, and I do feel like they got this formula right. I think it's a really nice powder. I keep finding pieces of glitter all over my face, so that's one thing that I noticed the last time I used this eyeshadow palette as well. There's definitely some fallout. I'm not really familiar with using a glitter glue or anything like that, so that's just me applying it right over top of powder. I bet if you used a more tacky base, it would stick a little better, but if you don't, there is some fallout. All right, let's do the lower lash line. I'm gonna go into Dream Maker, which was that pretty pink. I'm gonna tap off the extra, and then I'm going to just buff this along the lower lash line. I've gotta go grocery shopping right after this. I'm gonna be looking real fancy getting my groceries, but oh well, what can you do? I've got to be better at like meal planning, and I've had phases where I'm really good at it, but then I feel like I always go back to just like not planning ahead, and then we eat out, and it's just a bad cycle. I'm gonna go into the shade Work It, which is this one right here, and I'm actually gonna blend that kind of right on top of it, closer to the lash line. But if any of you guys have mastered the art of meal planning and meal prep or anything like that, can you please share your tips and tricks? Are there apps that you use? Is there a certain routine that you have? Because I need help in that department. I really enjoy cooking, but on a day-to-day basis where my husband and I are like working and the day is busy, if I don't have it planned, like we eat out. It's just how it goes. So I'm trying to be better. I'm taking the deepest shade, which was called Feel Free, and I'm applying that to the outer corner of the eye and then connecting it to the wing on the top lid. And I'm making sure that this shade specifically is very close to the lashes on the lower lash line. Next, I'm gonna hop into this shade right here called Melody, and I'm applying that to the lower lash line, just in this inner portion here, because I want there to be some sort of shimmer, but I don't necessarily want to apply that same glitter to the eye, so I'm just going to apply that to the lower lash line. Let's apply mascara to the lower lashes, and I think I actually want to add a little bit of an eye brightener to the waterline. I'm just gonna use this one that I have right here. It's the Benefit Roller Eye Bright Pencil. I don't own an affordable option. If you guys know of one, would you let me know? Because I've been really into this. I just think it really opens up the eye and makes the entire eye look more polished. So I'm just adding that to the waterline. Alrighty, let's add some warmth to the skin. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It Bronzer, and this is in the shade Light. And I'm just going to start to sculpt and buff this underneath the cheeks and along the forehead, into the hairline a little bit. This has been one of my favorite bronzers for a really long time. I just barely talked about it in my most recent video where I shared 7 bronzers that are worth your money. If you didn't see that, I will have it linked down below. But this one just works so well for my skin tone. I absolutely love it. So another thing that I was super excited about when it came to this collection were all the blushes that they launched. I love blushes. I picked up 3. I believe that they launched 6 of them. I got 2 bright colors and then this more muted color. I'm gonna go with this one just because the eye look is pretty bold. I bought the other 2 blushes with like a really blush heavy look in mind, so that will be the focal point when I use those 2 blushes. I'll have to use them in a different video, but this is their Super Shock formula, which is such a cool formula. I love it. This is in the shade Count Me In, and I'm just gonna go ahead and dip a blush brush into this. I've been loving this one from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. It's the JH06 brush, and I'm just gonna go like this. And then I'm going to smile and start to layer that on the apples of the cheeks. I just think this color is so good for every day. This formula is so unique because you can apply it with a brush or your fingers. I feel like I get a little more control when I set my face with a powder by using a brush. If I had a more cream base, I would use my finger because I feel like you can blend it out over creams a little bit easier. Isn't this pretty? Yes! Colourpop was having a sale. Unfortunately, this collection was excluded from the sale when I was buying everything, but I really wanted to pick up some things that you guys had recommended to me and also things that like are just famous from Colourpop. I picked up the Super Shock Cheek Highlighter in the shade Lunch Money. So many of you guys have recommended this to me because I've had a hard time finding Super Shock highlighters that work for my skin tone, and for some reason I had never picked this one up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go right into this with a brush. Spoiler alert, it works for my skin tone because I tried it out for the first time in that other video, but I can show you how it looks here. I'm just gonna go ahead and buff this out on the highest points of the face. I like to do kind of a C shape around the brow. And I do like to have a little bit of highlighter on the front of my cheeks because when I smile, I just feel like it makes everything look nice and fresh and healthy. I'm gonna apply a little bit of this down the center of the nose on the Cupid's bow. And that's all for now. Maybe we'll add more later. But I love this formula and I love the shade on me. I'm gonna go back in with the blush brush and just brush right over the apples of the cheeks again because I feel like some of that color was erased. There we go. All right, I'm going to wipe off any foundation that got on the lips. They also came out with several lipstick colors. I picked up 3. Again, I just picked up the things that really interested me. So I only picked up the shades that interested me as well. I got the shade 7 Spring, Spring Roll, and Flower Season. I'm gonna apply these for you guys so that you can see what they look like. This is their cream lipstick formula. I'm gonna show you 7 Springs first, which is like a really pretty orange. This is such a cool color. I feel like it's definitely a little much with the eye look. So it's something that I'm really excited to wear with just a wash of brown shadow and mascara and maybe even like a more bold cheek with it. But I wanted to show you what it looks like so that you can see. I like to cover up my eyes so you can see the vibe of just the lipstick. Yes? I really like it. I'm excited about that shade. Okay, the next one I want to show you is Flower Season, which is a little bit more of a bold reddish color. Look at this. Oh, this is such a statement lip. Sorry if my lines aren't perfect when I'm applying these. I'm just trying to show you the color. But that is Flower Season. There's how it looks by itself. But I really love this. And I'm super excited to wear both of those shades. Especially for spring, I feel like when you have fresh skin, a really soft eye, and then a pop of color on the lips is just everything. So I can't wait to wear those lip colors. So the last one that I got is the lightest color in the lipstick range that they launched with this collection. It's called Spring Roll. I'm going to apply it for you and we'll see if it looks good with this eye look. I might end up going with something a little bit lighter. No, I really like this. Okay, rewind. Before I officially apply that lipstick, I actually picked up one of their new lip liners. Something was in my mouth. What the heck? I'm not sure if this shade is new. I know they just kind of relaunched the packaging. They had a few new shades and then they just repackaged some of their old shades. But this is the Colourpop Lippy Pencil and this is in the shade Another Round. I'm gonna go ahead and line and fill in the lips with this. I'm obsessed with this shade though. I'm gonna overline the lips just slightly. And the trick to overlining the lips is to just overline here and here. And then when you go to the outer corners, you connect it to your natural lip line. and that helps it look way more natural. I have a piece of glitter in my brow. Sorry if that's been bothering you. All right, now we're gonna go into Spring Roll, this pretty nude lipstick, and I really actually do love the formula of these lipsticks. This lip liner and this lipstick are a match made in heaven. Then I want to take it up a notch. I bought 2 different kinds of glosses. One of them is one of their like OG colors. This is in the shade Fairy Floss. It's their ultra glossy lip. And then I picked up one of their brand new formulas. This is a plumping gloss and it's in the shade Roundabout. So I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use. This one's a little bit deeper than this Fairy Floss shade. You know, since this one's plumping, I think I'm gonna save it for another video. I'm gonna try out this one just in the center of the lips. Again, this is in the shade Fairy Floss, and I'm going to just brush it right in the center and then use my finger to pat it out. And that just helps to make your lips look even more plump. This is such a comfortable formula. I love their ultra glossy lips. All right, we need to touch up the brows a little bit. I'm gonna use my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I know Colourpop does have brow pencils. They're good. I just don't find myself reaching for them a ton, so that's why I didn't use them in this video. I'm just gonna go ahead and touch up any sparse areas. So when I brushed off the mascara mark, I felt like I lost a little bit of the glitter right here. This could be very dangerous. Hopefully there's not too much fallout. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Same thing on this eye. And we are going to add a little more bronzer to the forehead as usual. And before I forget, I'm gonna take a little bit of the Super Shock cheek highlighter in the shade Lunch Money, which is the exact same one that we used on the cheeks. And I want to apply this in the inner corner of the eye, as well as underneath the brow. And then to lock it in place, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the Colourpop All-Star Face Setting Spray. I did just purchase this as well. I haven't used it enough to really figure out if it helps my makeup last longer or not, but it smells good. So I'm just gonna spray the face with this. Kind of feels like it's spitting at me. Oh no, my handy fan's over there. Oh no, we don't have time to get up and get it. Just use my hands, I guess. And then I'm just gonna take my sponge and lightly press over everything. This helps get rid of any extra powder. I feel like it helps lock the makeup in further, and it just makes everything look way better. It's my favorite step. I have a lot of favorite steps when it comes to makeup, but this definitely transforms the complexion at the end of your routine. All right, and then we're gonna set the brows with the Colourpop Brow Boss Gel. This is just a clear gel. I'm gonna run that through the brows. And that completes this makeup look. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. This whole collection is so beautiful in my opinion. If there's one thing that I would recommend from the entire thing, it's definitely the eyeshadow palette. This palette could be something that you already own in a lot of ways, like some of these browns and peach tones might be in another palette for you. But for me, these glitter shades and then the Super Shock shadow sets it apart from all my other eyeshadow palettes, plus the packaging and then the price point. I definitely feel like it's worth the money. If you're into these kind of peach and golden tones, I think you would really love this. I love the glitter. It's so good. I really hope that they start selling full glitter shadow palettes because I would be all over that. The lipstick colors that I bought, I'm really excited about. So if you're interested in one of those colors that I showed you, I would recommend those as well. I'm familiar with the cream lipstick formula from Colourpop. I think it's really, really nice. I also loved the lip liner. The blush I thought was so pretty. I'm so excited about that Colourpop highlighter. The mascara, I'm not 100% sure about yet. The stick foundation I feel like looks good, but again, I don't know if it's my favorite thing in the world. And then the primer and the setting spray, I'm gonna have to keep playing with. So definitely the star of the show is the eyeshadow palette. If you guys are interested, I think it's beautiful and I think you would really, really love this. So yeah, I hope you guys found that helpful. Let me know what your favorite Colourpop products are in the comments below. Are you familiar with their complexion products? And if so, how do you feel about them? Do you like them or do you not like them? I honestly love how Colourpop is able to create so many high quality products for a really affordable price. Even though some things are a miss for me, most things from Colourpop are a hit for me. Again, their lip products are amazing and their pressed eyeshadow formulas are unbelievable. And honestly, I feel like they killed it with the Sweet Talk collection. It's amazing. Which just reminded me, I did pick up one more thing in that collection and it's their Jelly Much eyeshadows. I had never tried this eyeshadow before and I still have not yet tried it on my face or on my eyes. But this was part of the collection. This is the Jelly Much shadow in the shade Big Ego. Look at this. I'm gonna swatch it on my hand so you guys can see. They came out with several of these. This is the one that intrigued me most. Do you see the purple and then green and gold shift? I can't wait to use this, but it's definitely something that I'm gonna use like on its own. I don't know how well it would work with this palette necessarily, but I wanted to show you guys guys that because I'm also super excited about that color. Maybe I'll use it in a future tutorial so that you guys can see how it looks on the eyes. But yeah, that's it for today. If you're new here, my name is Allie and I would love to have you join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays every single time I post, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification when I upload. That glitter is so stunning. I wish you could see how beautiful it is in person, but I'm gonna go to the grocery store now. I hope you guys have an amazing day and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.